All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this PIMvendors.com webinar with Censhare and on the topic of AI in product information management. I'm Stephan Spijkers. I'm co-founder of PIMvendors.com, and today I'll be your host. But before we go into the presentation and the live demo of the AI tools, to which I'm very much looking forward, and I hope you are as well, a quick intro on us, on what PIMvendors does. PIMvendors.com is a independent platform for product information management info. So if you need any information on PIM, on product data, please take a look at our website where you can find all kinds of knowledge base articles on the impact of AI on the world of product data. It is revolutionary, I can tell you that. And we'll see that today as well, I hope. But also free tools to check which PIM best fits your need. And if you are looking for a new product information management solution, you might just go and hit up Rick on LinkedIn directly, but you can also fill in our scan that independently matches you to a short list of your top 5 shortlisted solutions. If you need any help with your product data, let us know as well, because we provide solution architecture and process architecture consulting as well. If you want to just check out what we do, we also have a full list of previous webinars recorded, and you can see those recaps and this recap as well on our website shortly and also on our YouTube page. So be sure to stick around and subscribe there as well. Having said that, I wanted to give the floor to Rick. But before I do that, maybe a quick sort of housekeeping. I already mentioned it in the comments on LinkedIn. Depending on where you're joining us from, be that Riverside directly or on LinkedIn, you can leave comments. And I invite everyone to do that and ask their questions or leave comments in the comments field on the right-hand side. Ask your questions, give feedback, provide your context or your experience with using AI. And maybe we can weave those into the conversation. We'll also have a dedicated Q&A afterwards, but I would rather have your questions right away and try to weave them in because that makes for a more natural conversation. Final note, we'll be sharing a recording with everyone, so if you have to leave early or have to drop out or want to share this conversation with a coworker, we'll share a link to the recording afterwards so you can do that at your leisure. So without further ado, Rentrop from Censhare, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Welcome everybody, good afternoon, and this is the presentation through PIMvendors on AI and product information management. My name is Rick Rentrop, and I work as a director for partners and alliances with Censhare Northwest Europe. With me in the call is my colleague Adrien Marron from Paris, France, the technical, let's say, backbone of he does what I promise. That's basically how the things are divided between us. Very excited to be here today. What we're going to show you is what AI can do for you in PIM and how it actually works. We've heard a lot of stories about what you could do, and what we will show you today is what you actually can do. If we move to the next slide, please. So I'll tell you a bit about Censhare, just to explain. In the back of both me and Adrien, you will see Entirely. Entirely is a, let's say, combining brand in which Censhare is one of the founding partners. It goes too far to go into that right now, but then you know what the reason is. So Entirely is our mother company, let's say. We're briefly touch the Censhare platform, talk about PIM functionality and AI, where the combinations lie, and what you can do with it, and then we can go to Adrien's use case, which is very impressive. So there's a wrap up at the end. If there's any questions, you can drop them in the chat. Feel free to reach out to either Adrien or myself on LinkedIn to connect and discuss further. We will show you the images in a second, the links. Next slide, please. Okay, so as I said, Adrien Marron, based in Paris, a senior technical product manager, does a lot of technical things for customers for us in France, and those include some large publishers like Prisma and Reworld Media, companies like Clarin and Interparfum. So he's really keen on getting the projects at the customer sites up and running. My role within Censhare is working with partners and alliances, and that means that I am looking for companies that can help us extend our go-to-market reach, in which we go together to get our solutions sold, implemented, maintained, and expanded to the best of our liking. Okay, so Censhare itself was founded in 2001 in Munich, was part of the now entirely umbrella since 2019. And we are in let's say, the backbone of a marketing tech stack from a content point of view. So if you look at the product more closely, you will see Dan, PIM, and CMS functionality. We'll get to that in a second. We provide to over 300 brands in the world, mainly in Europe and North America, but a lot of those also work on a global base. As you see here, very proud to work with all those beautiful companies. And they like us. We are able to maintain a 98% customer retention rate, which is pretty high. And they also indicate to us that they have saved 75% at that time to market with tooling that we provide. On a regular day, we have over 250,000 users on the platform, and we manage a total of more than 3 billion assets on that specific platform. Recognized by the leaders in the field, so the Gardens, the Foresters, the IDCs of this world. So really a recognized solution that's been going around for nearly 25 years and offering a great advantage to our customers. Next slide, please. This is a bit where we are the odd one out when it comes to PIMvendors, because we are an omni-channel content platform where it's also PIM functionality included, and you can run that as a standalone or point solution if you like, as a separate PIM. But we usually offer this in a wider range and really offer it as a content platform where we have one source for all marketing content that can be enriched from any source that you have on the left-hand side, and then be published platform agnostically to any channel that you have in real time, obviously. So what we do, we are based on a graph database, which you see on the floor. The platform itself is a very powerful event-driven database. It's a graph database, as I said, able to work with loads and loads of files. So not using the standard SQL tables, but really having interlinked assets in there that allow you to work with massive loads of content without waiting too much on doing your search, for example. A lot of functionalities in there, and the three main cloud products that we offer is product information management, asset management, and content management as a system. On top of that, we have separate modules that you can add to further enhance your functionality if you want. And we're going to specifically talk today about our product information management segment connected with artificial intelligence and API. Okay. So what we basically do is we centralize all product information and make it available to build your content on. Now, you might understand that if you look at PIM as such, the way we use it, it's mainly used to fuel and create content with. So you might have a lot more specific product data coming from your master data management system, but not all of that would be necessary in order to create your content. So we take either a strip of that, and we have an MDM as their single source of truth, or we take that role on us, and from there we feed the channels that work with products, and that include ERP systems. For example, we run campaign management from there with the right product information in the right channels, and embedded also with customer data to make a more personalized customer experience, if you like. And we work with a product master up and down the chain to make sure there's only one source of truth for this. Some of the features that we offer, as you see here, is an integration with everything that we have in the platform. So it's very easy to navigate from PIM functionality to DAM functionality, as you see here, all within the same UI. So that ensures a better user acceptance, working with workflows and quality gates, as you see here, completely configurable. So we can cater to any need that you or your customers might have, and making sure that it fix all their business processes in the right way. Most importantly, or one of the key features, let me put it like that, is that we try to automate as much as possible. So that comes from automating repetitive tasks to make it more easy and flexible to work with, to, as you see here, complete low-code functionalities that allows you to create different APIs, connection to different systems, and so on. Adrien will go way deeper in this than I can, but this allows you really to work with Censhare in the center of your entire marketing tech stack and connect basically to anything that you would like, and automate it as far as possible. Okay. Important, once you have that content produced, you have that product information, you want to publish it to anywhere you like. You want to make sure that's evident. So we have a content-first approach in which we create it once, and we can then either publish variants in different languages, for example, or to different target groups, maybe different currencies. But make sure you don't have to do it over and over again. We make both changes without you having to interfere in that, and make sure that all your channels are kept up to date with the correct information. Looking at AI as such, of course, there's a wealth of functionality that you can think of. A very small outlet is seen here. Most importantly is that we can integrate it with any LLM that you like. So the LLM, the library behind the AI functionality, is available to be connected to Censhare, whether it's OpenAI, JetGPT, whether it's Gemini, whether it's DeepL, whatever you want to do. All these features, or you have your own LLM, that of course happens as well. They can all be integrated to work with Censhare if you like. And you can think of simple functions like product text suggestions, as you will see, but also next products that are recommended within an e-com platform, for example. Do a search on similar products, do a search on whatever might be the next best thing. Make editable creations that you can have as a template for the best market approach that you want to have, what suits best with your target group. A lot of things that can be automated, can be put next to each other, can be worked together, and make sure that the content experience is going the right way without having all the hard lift and shift. So let's say. So AI as such is a tool. I think it's important to restate that AI is doing what has been told. And there is a great difference between thinking of something and doing something, because most of the AI models that we see, they can do whatever you ask them, but you have to ask them first. And that's the key difference with a cognitive process in which you think of the way a campaign should look like, to think of what should be the setting. So once you have that defined, and that's also where the human factor comes in, AI can be a great help to do exactly that. Write the right text, make sure the right context is in there, but you need to set it up first. So there will always consider AI a tooling to make your life easier instead of something that takes over everything that you're doing. Because, well, we don't really see that happen. Of course, it will be better and better, and those cognitive powers will be expanded over time. But as we see it now, there will always be a space for human guidance within the whole AI. Okay. I don't see any questions in the chat, so for now, that's a small introduction of Censhare. Again, happy to tell you more about it if necessary. For now, the highlight of the session, let's move to Adrien and show the use cases that we presented. Adrien, floor is yours.
I have maybe one question, Rick, for you.
Sure.
Or maybe it's for Adrien, I don't know. But how do you see the sort of balance between the automation and, of course, the automation into AI and the human in the loop? So I think many people are struggling with, I want to integrate AI and brings lots of benefits, but I don't want to lose control. How do you bring that? Yeah.
Well, I think in this process, you control the AI, you control what it does, and it will give you feedback and results based on what you ask. Make it simple. The AI doesn't create questions himself, right? It will be some guidance for you, and furthermore, whatever comes out of it, you need to make sure that it's suitable enough. Simple example: any translation, automatic translation that you will get from your product text, would require a human to read it to make sure that literal translations are made correctly, especially in Dutch. That's the case. Let's say you have a website on composable commerce. Well, there are words in there like composable commerce. You don't need to translate. So if you run that through AI, you might still see that it has been literally translated, unless it's trained to do better. But there's still human intervention to make sure whatever output is produced is suitable for use.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So just quick introduction. So regarding this session for the demo, I will just share two, three slides, just to introduce the use case, to see how it is structured on the environment, and to describe what we want to achieve today in this session. And with this webinar, that's also the opportunity to showcase the latest release that is live since few days and now since few weeks. So that's work on this new release. And we will approach two different parts of AI. So one regarding generative AI, which is quite common as Rick described, to create text, generate images, and so on. So we'll see that also as well in the platform, but really briefly. And then we'll spend more time on the agentic AI side of things. So the goal would be, of course, to interact and to give all the tools, all the necessary tools to control the content creation in the system. Regarding this use case, so what we will show, of course, there is a lot of topic regarding data. We'll use in this demo, everything will be public, so there is no nothing confidential, nothing private. There is no personally identifiable information in this demo. So, of course, if we would implement the same in a real case scenario, then we would need, of course, definitely to consider some measure and some gates to control, of course, what we send to public APIs. Regarding LLMs and services, just to illustrate, of course, we got a wide range of tools, but to prepare and to run this demo, we are using Google Gemini, OpenAI ChatGPT, mainly to control, to manage all the different actions and to get feedbacks and to run different agents in the system. And Grok was also used because it's pretty fast. And we have been using, of course, different models for this one. It's pretty straightforward to prototype and also to build things because it's pretty fast and to get results. In this scenario also, there will be one single role, so one workspace for the demo, so we'll not switch between roles like we could do in other scenarios. Of course, the workspace and everything that we will share can be fully customized in the UI, but here we'll only stick to one single role to make it super easy and to avoid to switch because we've got limited time there to showcase and really focused on the AI topics. Regarding the data model that we will show today, so there will be, as we can see in the middle, one main product because that will be the focus of today. And it will be a bottle called Splash Drink for All. That's a fake product here, fake brand as well. This product belongs to Splashworks. And to this product, we have one main picture, one pack shot linked to this. We have different illustration, different images connected to this product. And one product variant connected also to this product. So that's the basic structure that we see in most cases, of course, and that's what we will manipulate today in terms of data. So in terms of illustration, so we'll have the brand, as we mentioned, the pack shots, and then some illustration. So that's more like AI generated content also with the product included in different contexts. And that's also the goal of the use case today, because we want to adapt the content based on specific target groups. So that's the goal of today's session also as well, ultimately. Make sure that we can localize the content, but also that to make sure that the content fits specific target groups there. Regarding some use cases that we will introduce, of course, there are some overlaps between these two roles, but we have, let's say, two main roles, one content manager and one product manager there. One idea is to create and manage content, localized content mainly, of course, in the system. It could be tedious, mainly if there are a lot of languages in the system to be managed. We will rely on AI services to translate and to get different feedbacks from the AI services, potentially fine-tune, of course, if required, if we need to adjust some description, for example. We'll see how we can batch update content in the system, so to provide queries to the system that will be interpreted by AI, and then ultimately update all the material that we have in the system. The goal, of course, there in this session is to try to demonstrate that we can guide also the user experience in the system. So most of the time, we deal with complex data model, with complex data, with a lot of constraints. And of course, the goal here is to have this kind of layer with AI to benefit with this, to have this layer in between to translate what the users would like to achieve and eventually guide the user if something, of course, is not allowed or if we need to to adapt something in the system. We'll, of course, as we mentioned, adapt and localize product descriptions for some specific target groups, as we have seen before. As product manager, we'll create new product variants, and there will be some enrichment regarding some attributes, so like size attributes in the system, just to illustrate one scenario there. Good. So let me switch to the environments. So check. I switch to this page first. So I'm connected to a demo instance. That's a typical pre-sales demo instance that we have with the latest release 2025.1 as mentioned. And I'm connected as a standard user here. So all users in the system have their own specific role in the system. And of course, that for each role, we can adapt all the permissions and the whole workspace, the whole UI in the system to make it completely flexible and to adapt, of course, the display and the functionalities in the system depending on the user role. So what we can see, just to introduce a bit the interface. So on the left side, we got the main section with all the main menus in the system. We got a main search bar on top to retrieve any kind of information in the system. And in the middle, I'm currently on a product page here to visualize all the product information. All the pages in the system are organized by tabs. And so we can visualize all the different content in the system by navigating, and we can organize, of course, all the content through the different tabs in the system. In every tab, as we can see here, sorry, I was a bit disconnected, that's fine. And so for all the tabs that we have, we got some widgets here where we can, for example, for instance, for the preview, visualize all the product information in the system. So that's kind of a summary, and everything is localized, so we can switch to different language. And we can see here, for example, for French language, we do not have any content for the time being. We'll work on this. And here in the middle, we have a product properties widget here where we can visualize all the properties. Of course, that's fully customizable. That depends really on your use case and on your features. And of course, we can adapt and organize the features the way you like. Here again, that's just a demo scenario, just a demo case. It's not to showcase all the features that we could put for a product, but more like to showcase different attributes, different types, and so on. So we got here the product description that can be styled here on this product. It is localized, so we can create as many product description as we want here in the system. Again, of course, because with my role, with my user, I'm kind of an admin role in the system, so I'm allowed to edit anything. But of course, if you have a different set of permissions, we can completely adapt the permissions for you in the system and restrict some access, so to put some attributes as read-only or to completely hide some features if they are not managed by a specific team. So that's the product description that we have, and we will play a lot with it during the demo. We got also as well one feature that is specific for this use case. So to have different target groups. So we got, for instance, we'll play with 4 different target groups. So soccer players, runners, mountain bikes, young people at school. And the goal here will be to adapt these product description based on these target groups that we have here. And to have these localized, of course, for various languages. And yeah, that's the goal of the session. So that's what we have in terms of properties. On the right side, we got the workflow of the product. So this is also as well fully customized. We can define as many steps depending on, of course, your business case to adapt and to create all the logic and adapt the permissions we want in the system. We got all the completeness check conditions and all the quality gates in the system. So that's mainly to guide the user also as well in the system to make sure that all the attributes that are required before publishing the product to an output channel to the e-commerce platform or to something, to make sure that all these attributes are, of course, filled in and the way it should be before publishing the product. So that's really a section to control and to guide the users there. Here, the latest widget that we have on the overview is, as we call it in the system, the product item, but that's more like the product variants that we have in the system. So here for now, we got one specific variant for this product. So the master product is on our side mainly the container, so to collect all the marketing data, and all these marketing data that will be enriched on this product will be used for all the variants that we have. Currently, we got only one variant, which is a 500 milliliter for this product, but of course we can create as many variants as we want there to then adapt, of course, also eventually the content or also the media sets that are linked to this product. So that's what we have on the overview. Just to quickly showcase what we have regarding the media section here really quickly. So we got the pictures. Everything here has been generated by AI, Gemini, for instance. So we got the pack shot, and we got the product contextualized here in different for different target groups that we want to showcase today. So that's what we now regarding the second part. I will open a new window just here, just as a side to make sure that we are aligned as well here. Oh, I need to connect because, of course, I was disconnected in the background. So I will connect it in parallel. Just to showcase also as well here some while I'm connecting the other parts. Of course, we got different sections. Let's start maybe with the classification here. So regarding the classification, so for every product, we can attach a specific product category here, for instance. So that means we can, of course, define specific attributes and specific features that will be used for this particular product. Of course, here that's a drink. But if we have different kind or different type of products, then we can definitely adapt all the features that we want here in the system and provide the necessary features based on the asset category here. We got also different asset type. We got some product series. So that's product sets, all the product families from where these products belong. So just to create different kind of collections inside the system. So let me see if the agent is connected. That seems to be now connected in the background. So just to showcase what we have currently on screen, it's just a dedicated asset to just interact with our agents in the system. So we have about simple chat box that we have like for OpenAI or any kind of AI system where we want to interact with. And then we got two widgets that are connected, that are next to this chat here. So we got one widget, which is the context assets. So here it's mainly to use this asset in the system based on some context. So to execute operation based on these context asset that will be assigned here on these widgets. For the attachment, that's like a pinboard, and that's like a collection. So if we manipulate any kind of data, we can decide which kind of data we will, of course, visualize here. And that's really our basket here, just to showcase these parts. So just to check if our agent is connecting, we'll just send just a simple request, just to check if everything is fine. Otherwise, we'll need to adapt this. So here, what I do is I just send a simple message to AI, and then it will automatically provide, hopefully, a response if it is connected. Just refresh the page. Should be connected, yeah. And just to see if we get a reply. Okay, that's connected now. So now we get a reply, just a basic response from the AI agents. So the way it is structured, so we got one main agent, as we can see here on the screen. And this agent is in charge of, let's say, answering all kind of requests and queries that I will type here in this box. So that means, of course, every request will be then dispatched to other agents, ultimately in the background. So agents that are tailored for specific tasks. So that means I can definitely decide what I want to do and eventually run different actions depending on the agents. So that means I can define specific rules on these agents and define the kind of automation that I would like to run in the background. I just added one additional prompt here, so that's just a general prompt, and I just asked the AI to write a general product description about our product that is that we have seen just before in the system, and just to provide, in fact, some kind of product description here. So that's just a prompt to just get a request from the system here. So what we want to do here, as we have seen before, for this product here, we do not have any French localization here for this product description. So what we want to do is to assign this product here. And what we want to do is to set, of course, the product description in French. And what we'll do here, we will, of course, copy and paste automatically the product description that was suggested here. We'll send this request to the agent. Here, that's more like a task that we have sent. This is more like not like a request that we have seen before. And what we can see on the screen, we get different feedbacks, pretty much like a chat. So if we would have different colleagues in the team to work on different tasks, instead of having colleagues, that's more like AI agents that are working in the background to really run the job that we scheduled for a specific task. So for instance, we just ask to set the product description in French for this particular product. And then I get a feedback here from this agent to say that this product description has been updated successfully. And I got the link, of course, of the product that has been just updated. And if I just check now the product with this in this new tab, I can see now that I got French text, which is actually not French. Got a description here that is filled for the French language here. So if we go to the tab here, that's not really French, that's English, but still it's a description that is filled for this field. So that's what we have here. And what we can do is, of course, because we got other languages here, we got, for instance, Japanese, we got other languages. We can do one languages at a time, but of course we can, if we want to, execute a prompt that will update. Instead of having one single language that will be updated, we can run, of course, this query to do exactly the same, but to adapt, of course, the update and to run this update for several languages. So what do we see here? We get an update, we get a product description, and of course, 4 different languages. It's still the same as before because we specifically asked to set this product description, and we need to fine tune a bit, of course, the prompt here. So here we'll just fine tune a bit the prompt, but still we got different localization. So if I switch, to the Japanese here translation, now I got something else as well. It's not yet Japanese, but at least I get some translation. So here, just by adding and suggesting different prompts, the main agent will just translate the message, adapt the message, pass it to another agent, which is, for instance, the content manager in the system. And the content manager will do the work for me. And of course, we need to be accurate, and we need, of course, to adjust and to fine-tune the prompt. This is why we have the main agent at the beginning to guide the user also as well with all the steps that we want to. And here we change slightly the prompt because we asked specifically for a specific translation based on the text that we have here. And we get a different product description that are fully generated via AI in different languages. And they are adapted here. Another prompt that we can showcase here is, of course, as we discussed before, we can define some governance rules in the system. So here I got another prompt where I want to send this product description in Spanish for the product. And here there is a specific rule in the demo scenario here to prevent to update the Spanish language, because this is not allowed there in the system. And as you can see here, because we define all the rules and all the and what we want to achieve with these agents, so it will, of course, restrict and prevent to update this kind of content in the system, but also as well provide a nice feedback, or at least understandable feedback for the user to eventually fine-tune the request, or at least to identify if something was not well addressed. And so we get a feedback from the AI agents to then move forward and to eventually adapt all the data. Biggest challenge that we see when we update content in general in the system is that most of the time it's done via, well, in a traditional in traditional environments, it's done via various imports, and of course that's a challenge because ultimately you need to be super strict with all the rules and so on. And here, of course, there is a margin for error. So if there is a typo issue or whatsoever, then of course the AI will adapt the message to make it understandable and easily digestible to then run some automation in the background. So that's what we have on the product. Now, if we move to the product item, so just to quickly look first on the product. So we got our Japanese description as we wanted. We got our French localization that has been added also as well here, which is correct French, and of course we got German language also as well that has been updated there. Here we have been working on the product asset, and of course we can switch context, so we can just decide to remove this asset from context and work, for example, on the product item. On this product item, so that's the product variant of the product. If we go here and if we open here this product item in a new tab, so just to make it easily understandable, so that's our variant here. We got a description, of course, here in English, in French as well. We got some metrics. We can also as well run different queries here based on this product item. So here, for instance, we can say, okay, we want the same as before, we want to update the product description, but instead of having a generic description here, we want really a specific description based on the capacity and to eventually fine-tune a bit the description here for this use case. So we send this request to the agent, and then automatically it will push this update to our asset, and this new description has been pushed to this variant and not for the product, because we switched the context, and we can definitely update this one. Of course, we can also as well automate and create assets in the system, so we can create new objects, new products, and new images, new text, and so on. So for example, here we got one single variant for our product, and if we want to create a new product variant in one with 1 liter, for instance, so bigger bottle for this one, for our variant. So we just send a specific prompt to our main agent. So our main agent will collect the prompt, and then we got, as we can see here, a completely different agent that is in charge of creating content in the system, because this is how we define our policy and our automation in the system to automatically create these variants. And as we can see here, we got a new variant that has been created. It is also as well available in the chat. And if we have a quick look on this item, then we can see that we got this item with its corresponding workflow, and that is ready to be used, or at least ready to be prepared for the product. The next part, of course, is to enrich and to define some specific attributes for these variants. So just one step to include this one here. So I will just include my variant that has been just created in the system. It was part of the automation, but that's okay. That's fine. So we'll just pick the one that just been created, and now we got the 1 liter. So we got 2 different variants for the same. So if we go here, as long as we connect the variants, so these new variants, then of course we get automatically some content from the master. So like the brands, some content, some features also that we inherit from the master to the different variants. And now the goal will be to enrich and to start to fill some specific values for this product. The one common use case that we see quite often is I will switch to this new variant and assign this 1 liter variant here as context for my agent. And then I will just use this spreadsheet here to fill automatically some values. So here, for instance, I can then make a new prompt, and I want to set specifically the following unit properties from my table, and I can just copy paste the data that I have from my table straight. And then when I do this, when I copy all the values there, then of course it will automatically send this request again to the main agents. Then we got a dedicated agent ultimately in the background to fetch and get this request, then adapt it to what we want to do in terms of automation. And then we can see as a result what has been updated in the system. And for instance, we see that with the depths exactly as we wanted here by copying and pasting the data from the table to get the data that we have here in the system. So if we open this asset, now we can see that we got some dimensions that have been defined with the corresponding unit. We can see there is an issue here. So of course, this can be fixed anytime, and we can adjust the prompt to just adapt, of course, here the import to update again the asset if there is a typo issue and so on. So that's how it works when we get, of course, all the assets, and we can, of course, update assets in batches if we want to, if that's required. That's the first part. For the next part of what we will showcase is the product description based on different target groups. So that's what we discussed a bit before. Just to illustrate a bit in terms of data model. So that's our data model that is structured currently in the system. So we got our product that we have seen in the demo where we created product description, we enriched, we changed some product description, and we created a variant also as well, enriched some data. And we also have some specific target groups that are configured in the system. So if we go on the product there, we got some specific target groups that have been defined on these assets next to the product upsell, cross sells, and so on. And here what we want to do is to automatically adapt, as we said before, the message based on the user targets. So for our user targets, as we discussed, we got the mom on the bikes, the runners, young people at school, soccer players, and we got a different text in various languages, French, English, Japanese, and so on, etc. So that's to illustrate all the pictures. And here we want automatically to pass to the agent and automate the work and secure also as well the work from the contributor. So to pass automatically the product description from the product to the AI model, and then automatically based on this product description and on the name of the product and some rules and some prompts, then to automatically get some specific context, specific content there. So if we go back here to our agents, then we just include our product here that is linked in the context dialog. And now we can, of course, run a new prompt, a new query, just to generate a localized product description for some following target groups, so the target groups we just discussed before. And we want to provide this description in English, German, in French. So we see that our main agents collected also, as before, exactly the same, collected our request. And then our main agent knows where to dispatch this request to specific agents. So for instance, we got a specific agent that is configured here for content targeting. And here we got some description that has been updated here, for instance, for some target groups and with all these languages that we just requested here. So now if we go back to the product, let's go from here. And now if we scroll a bit, now we see that we got for each of these target groups, different text localized and that have been just added automatically to generate the content for these specific users here. So here we can see we got the text in English, in German, and so on, and Japan, and so on, and so on, and so on. Of course, one variant also as well here, as we got styling, that's also possible to request from the AI model either to refine or to style a specific description if we want to. or to automatically also adapt or fine-tune the prompt. Here it's just an example, but of course, based on the prompt, it will fine-tune and adapt the request there. So that's what we just created on the environment. The same would apply, of course, for the SEO data. So we got other use cases, not today, but where we can definitely automate and adapt. So that's more or less exactly the same principles, where we can control and automate all these scenarios. And I think that's it from my side.
That's cool stuff, Adrien. I'm still processing how, where, when, and I mean, just as a confirmation, this is the live product, right? So this is a live Censhare.
Yes,
as we speak.
It's not a video, yeah. It's not a screencast, yeah. That's really the demo environment that we use internally. Of course, yeah, I try to keep it really simple and did not showcase, of course, the technical side of things. But in the background, we have the automation, where we got some agents, of course, that are getting the data that we get from the prompt that we have seen before, that we pass to our agent. And then we got, of course, different connections to different agents. It's quite bundled, of course, because that's a common use case. And of course, now it depends on the customer use case to really adapt and to really simplify a lot the different contributions on the system. But also it is quite useful to retrieve also data in the system. So sometimes we got some users who are not technical experts. And of course, here we can, depending on the prompt, adapt the message and suggest what content will be relevant for them based on their request, because of course we'll have a set of rules in the background to simplify a bit the user experience for the...
Yeah. I have many questions, but we have some questions from the audience, so I want to start there. Specifically from Gianni, he asks, does the data model get enriched automatically as you add new data sets to a product, or does the data model needs to be manually updated? So do you need to manually update the data model, or can you do that with the AI as well?
In this demo scenario, we do not create any data model automatically. This could be done, of course. We probably need to have a dedicated agent if we would like to if we wanted to do this. But one common scenario is, of course, to enrich the value list. So for the value list, that definitely quite a common and relevant scenario where, for example, the user product manager wants to create new values. And of course, like this, you can just request to create a new value, and it will automatically enrich the master data. So that means, of course, all the values will be propagated to all the users. For pure data model and so on, I believe it depends, of course, on the use case and on the context, or at least to have, let's say, some kind of admin user to really control this, because most of the time you may propagate your data model to third-party systems, so you need, of course, to potentially adapt and to have some rules at least there. But that would definitely, technically speaking, that would be possible, yes.
Okay, cool. I hope that answers Gianni's question. And then we had a question from Chris as well regarding the overriding of information, but I think that has been answered by the demo already. Like you in a live setting, reviewed those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can at any point in time, we can, of course, that's completely correct. The product is really the main container for all the marketing informations. And then, of course, on the variant, we can decide if we want to set a product description that is really specific for this variant. We can definitely adapt it specifically to this variant.
Maybe we have some people with some technical issues. I apologize. So the audio levels are not always as expected, but that's something I'll fix in the post-production. So you'll get a recording with the normal audio. I have one more question, which is regarding this new interface and this vision, right? So there's different vendors applying different interfaces to their AI integrations, right? There's buttons that just auto-generate content. You have opted for a conversational interface. Would you like to give some more context on that? So the choice for this specific back and forth and this conversation actually that you're having with your tooling?
There are different kind of implementation. Here there is just one use case here where we select and we place different context assets. There is another scenario where we could be directly on a product and of course run some action directly on the product or on a picture to adapt the content. Here we use this specific agent and this specific workspace because it's pretty much like, where people used to work with ChatGPT and they are quite familiar with all these tools. So with this UI, the goal was to be consistent and at least to have the same kind of language to make it super understandable for the users and really to simplify the experience with what we have seen today.
I'm quite impressed by not just sort of this vision, but also how much is actually possible and that it is not just a vision, right? It is practice and it is a live demo. That's super cool and something I haven't seen before, especially with, I would say, the complexity, right, that is involved. So the relationship to the different models, the image generation, the translation, etc. So really impressive to see all that coming together. And I think a very interesting vision, but not just a vision, but also implementation of that vision to see how product information management or product data is being transformed, or even the whole process of onboarding and enrichment and publication, localization and translate, all those things are being transformed by AI, and see how you have already incorporated those things in the actual product and not just on the roadmap. Having said that, maybe I don't see any new questions from the audience. We're also coming up on time a bit. If you have any final questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll pick them up offline. Ask them to Rick or to Adrien directly, or to me. You'll probably be able to find us on LinkedIn, so please do reach out. I want to thank you, Rick and Adrien, for your participation today and showing these very impressive developments on the AI front. I hope that inspired the audience to try that out and see for themselves. If they want to, what will be the best way forward, the best next step?
Easiest would be to reach out to either me or Adrien directly. As I said before, there is a massive amount of functionalities that we offer within our platform. So we really can customize any on the case by case basis, let's say. So yeah, let's start a discovery model, start a discovery call, and see where you want to go, what we can solve in those questions. So yeah, just reach out and let us know what you're thinking about, and we can for sure build whatever you need to build to show in that case.
Yeah, awesome. Well, or they can just share the recording with their colleagues, but because of what I see here is already quite impressive.
Yeah.
No,
well,
cool.
we tried to make a general proposal that was really recognizable, not just to those people who want to make soft drinks, but to anyone who is creating a product and wants to work with different target groups and different variants. We can scale this to any size business that you need.
Yeah, really impressive what you have been able to show in those, short 60 minutes that we had.
That's kudos to Adrien.
Kudos to Adrien, yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
And the sort of mix of different features and functionalities, so not just on the text generation, but also on the image generation, the localization, the specific targeting to specific target audiences. I think there's a lot to unpack for people here. For everyone listening at home, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for your interactions. We'll be in touch with the recording where I'll fix some of the audio issues. Please follow us for our next webinars and next events. Stay in touch and have a good day today. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.